Are you, like most young Americans, struggling to pay your student debt? Well, there is a ray of hope because President Barack Obama just signed a Student Bill of Rights that defines a set of policy changes and projects that make it easier for people to pay back their student loans. Obama has asked the Treasury and Education Departments, as well as the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, to report back to him by October 1st on whether bankruptcy laws and other laws or regulations should be changed for student loans. President Barack Obama told the students at Georgia Tech that he wants to make the process of repaying student loans easier to understand and to manage. And I quote, "We're going to require that the businesses that service your loans provide clear information about how much you owe, what are your options are for repaying it, and if you're falling behind, help you get back in good standing with reasonable fees on a reasonable timeline. We're going to take a hard look at whether we need new laws to strengthen protections for all borrowers wherever you get your loans from." Obama said this to a cheering crowd of more than 9,500 students, Nick. This is very, very good news.
It is.
Do you have student loans?
I don't, thankfully.
Lucky for you.
Yeah, but that's awesome. But I feel like what are all these people thinking who like paid off their student loans a while ago and went through hell and did all this stuff and kind of wishing that
maybe they should
were
have
living
voted
in
for someone else?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that the White House gave out some numbers which are pretty scary. 40 million Americans have student loans. That's a lot. More than 70% of the US students who graduate, they go out of college with a degree, but with almost $30,000 in debt. That's a big handicap for you to start your life after college.
It's crippling for the entire economy, having millions of children owing thousands of dollars.
So the review of this focus mainly on private loans because there is already federal loans which are protected, but the problem right now is the private loans because the lending institutions, obviously they make a lot of money out of late fees, high interest rates, and people that default on their loans. So Obama wants to make sure that we make these lending companies accountable and that they support the students to pay back their debt. Do you think that if this happens, this has to happen before July 1st, 2016? Mm-hmm. The new set of rules and the policy changes have to happen before the summer of the next year. Do you think that once that happens, we're going to see a real change in the economics of the millennial generation? It doesn't even just focus on the millennials because many generations still are paying their student loans.
10 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah. I know, and it's sad. I hope so. I mean, I can't sit here and say that it'll have some positive impact right away, but yeah. God, I really, really hope it does. I'm kind of hoping for, the long-term future in a time when, kids don't even have to take out loans for college, not because everybody's rich, but because we have a more, reasonable system, more similar to what we see in places like Europe and stuff, where education is free, and if you do pay, it's not. You don't literally have to give an arm and a leg, and your parents do, It's
exactly. Well, not everybody was happy about this news. There were some detractors about it.
Of course.
One of the most known one is Mark Cuban, the billionaire, that said that forgiving the student debt will take out the motivation for the students to better themselves and to achieve, which for me is complete bollocks.
It is because it's coming
because
from
he's a billionaire coming from a billionaire. Of course,
it's easy for a billionaire to sit there and say, "Oh, stop being lazy," because they're a billionaire. Not everyone has that money to pay it off. I don't know. It's easy for him.
I know.
What does he know?
Again, he represents the businesses. He represents private institutions that profit from anything they can profit, especially lending companies that are very predatory on their terms. One of the things this Bill of Rights wants to change is that these companies make full disclosure of how the money is being lent, how do you repay it, any penalties if you pay it soon, any penalties if you pay late, if you get late on your payments, how you're going to get back. All of these sometimes on private loans is kind of sketchy and murky and is not disclosed fully. There's complication of we are not exactly your lending company, but someone else is going to lend you the loan, but it goes through us, so people get confused. So these mainly targets transparency at the moment that you get your loans, and then clear route for you to repay them back. So we want to know, what do you think? Do you think this is a big step forward and we are going to see a future with less people in debt because they went to school? We want to know what you think. Subscribe to the Lip TV as well, please.